Alright, Hazelmeg here. This is the, I guess this is the first part of the Supermoto project video after my update. So there is before this video, there was a initial video going over all the parts and what I was planning. I went in kind of more detail. And then like fast forward a year later, nothing really happened, but I was just giving you an update on what happened to the bike, and I went through all the parts again. So here we are. So we're gonna go get started working on this. So the first video will be we're gonna install the sprockets and the brake rotors. So that should be pretty easy stuff. So here are our wheels right here. After that, we'll be installing the tires and the tubes, but I don't think I'm gonna get to that today. It's kind of late already. So the first thing we're gonna do is install. Let's install the brake rotors. So here we got our brake rotors. I believe this is the rear rotor. So the way I'll go talk about in more detail how this wheel setup was going to be. So I bought this wheel. These are some sun rims, Supermoto sun rims. They're pretty wide. Let me see how wide this one is. This is I don't know, doesn't say on it. You can go measure it though. Yeah, let's go measure it. Oh, it's a 3.5. So this is a 3.5 by 17, and this is a 2.75 by 17. So they're pretty wide. At least the back one is super wide, man. That's wider than the wheels on my KLR. Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so that's the setup. These are the Supermoto wheels. They're basically a set of KLX140 hubs laced to some sun rims that were the sizes I mentioned earlier. And the way this setup works is the way I'm planning to set this up is if I want to go to the kart track, all I have to really do is swap out the tires and maybe just put the axle sliders on. That's it. And then if I want to go back to trail riding setup, we'll put the dirt wheels back on. Not too hard. Easy stuff. It's really easy on this bike. It's so small. Yeah. So, but the only thing is the chain. I'm kind of wanting to just. We'll have to see how this sprocket setup works. I changed the sizes of the sprockets, so we'll go over that when I install the sprockets. But we'll start with the brake rotors. So yeah. So yeah, they're going to be running the stock rotors. The good thing, I'll tell you now, the good thing about the KLX is for the class of bike this is in, like a little mini dirt bike, trail bike. It has the best brakes of its class. That's one of the reasons I bought the KLX. It has these pedal disc brake rotors front and rear. So this bike has very good brakes for its kind of class of bike. We don't really need a brake upgrade, in my opinion. This bike already has fantastic brakes for what it is, So we're gonna use. I have one of the brakes. The front rotor came with this kit that I bought. So we're gonna go ahead and install that on the front. So this guy will be going right here, and then this is the rear rotor. I bought a rear rotor on eBay, and this one will be going on the front here. Oh, this is the rear. Yeah, this is the rear. Okay. And I was wondering, why is there holes on both sides? There should be only one side. So this is the front. It's gonna go here, and then this is the rear, and then this is gonna have the sprocket on it. That sprocket right there. So that's the way I got it set up. So that way, all I have to do is just swap the wheels. I don't have to change the brakes. I don't need to have a funky brake caliper relocating thingamajigger. They just swap in and out. And like I said, the bike is not super fast. I don't think we need a brake upgrade. I think it'll stop just fine. And it has this brake has uprated fork springs too. That should help with the braking a whole lot. That brake dive is no fun. Yeah, so all right. So we're gonna go. I'll go get the torque specs. I got the bolts right here. So these are the KLX140 rotor bolts. This is for the front disc, so we will be installing this right there. And then these are some extra bolts that I bought on eBay, and I guess we'll use them. It's fine. This one actually came with the rotor bolts, so I don't really need them, but we'll just put the new ones on just to make them nice. All right, so the first thing we got to do is find out the torque specs, and then we'll just put the also, if you're wondering, my KLX here has KX100 or KX85 front forks, so that's the biggest model of this bike. Makes the bike taller, makes the bike handle better. Yeah, but it's lowered all the way. Like I said, it makes the bike it makes it much taller than it was before, so that's good for me because I'm an adult, you know, riding a kid's bike. And but I thought it was like way taller than the stock shock, so the stock rear height. So I raised them up as far as I could, and you can raise it up as far as you want. It doesn't affect the travel. Ooh, yeah, one thing is the wheel will be closer to the front fender, so that might be why I hear the fender hitting it sometimes. Maybe it's bottoming. I've never hit it really bad though. Alright, so anyway, that's just a little details on this bike. Alright, so I got my handy dandy Kawasaki KLX140 factory manual out here, factory service manual, and we are going to check what the torque is on these rotor bolts. So with the wheels and tires section didn't have it. It's under brakes, 11.4 in the manual and 11.5. Or also the other one too. One is the front and one is the back. So let's check out this looks like the front because it has like a fork here. 6 Lima 6L 6 brake disc mounting bolts is torqued at 87 inch-pounds. Okay, can do that. And the rear caliper, no, 8 Lima brake disc mounting bolts, 87 inch-pounds. So it's 87 inch-pounds is the spec. I'm not really sure what the thingamajigger is on that though. How many foot-pounds? I think it's about 8 or 9 foot-pounds, somewhere around that area. So we'll just use our small torque wrench. So first thing we're going to do is the seller had previously went and zip tied all the spacers on there, but we got to go take that out because it gets in the way now. It won't allow us to put the rotor in there, so we'll just take that out and just okay. They use multiple zip ties, so I'm free, freedom. All right, so. It's got a spacer here, the bearings and everything in there. Hopefully the bearings are still good. They feel like they're good. They move freely, so hopefully this is only used on the track. It's got some black grease on it. So we're going to go ahead and just take these out. Yeah, let's just take them out for now. They look the same. Yeah, they're exactly the same. So I don't think you can mix them up front and back. But you know what? Just to be sure, let's go mark them. I got my handy dandy Lowe's Sharpie here, and we're going to go and mark this. So I believe, go look at the bike right now. The brake, which is this one, front disc. They even marked everything nicely. It says front disc, and then there's arrows going counterclockwise on it. Now they made this a really easy setup for me. so anyway, I'm just gonna put L here. I'll put LF, and then I'll put a little arrow going that way. I don't think it makes a difference what direction the spacers go, because I think, like I said, they look like they're the same. And this will be right front. Okay. and it's supposed to rotate. It's the same. It's just the other direction. So I'll be rotating this way. Okay. So we'll take those out so I don't lose them. Okay, so now our rotor area is all ready to go. I'll just put this in here. These spacers and fit on this thing. How am I supposed to work on this thing, man? Spacer isn't fitting this. So I can't even use my tire changer. You know what? I've never changed the front tire on this bike, so I never knew. So the back one should fit then, because the back one will be thicker. So unfortunately, we can't really use our tire changing stand. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower this all the way. So you can't use it, unfortunately. So now it just winds up being a stand. So I never knew that about the KLX. About the KLX, that the front axle is like really thin. And it won't fit through that because I never installed a front tire on this bike. Tires just last forever. Okay, so here we got the rotor. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'll be fine. I had some little grease in my hands. I believe this is the front because it has it says the specs on it. I'll go ahead and put that on there. I don't think it matters where. And just line up the holes. So remember it was 87 inch-pounds, so I got these handy dandy Kawasaki genuine parts brake rotors. Factory stuff, man. This is the good stuff. So if you're wondering what the part number is for this, if you wanted to order some, it's a 92151-1799. It's the Kawasaki part number for a rotor bolt. Alright, so we'll go ahead and take it out. Pack it one at a time. Good quality stuff they include with this. This is what came with it, so we're going to use it. So it looks like it uses a 5mm. Yeah, so 5mm is what you want. And I got this set up to about 80 or 90 inch-pounds. Maybe I think it's 80 inch-pounds. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. First we're not even going to use torque wrench. First we'll just use these T-handles to get them in. So I'll start up here and just want to just kind of put it in by hand. It's going to be kind of hard to put in because it's got this thread locking compound on it. I'll probably put it in probably 9/10 of the way, and then we'll do the other ones because it's kind of self-aligning. That's the good thing about these. There's no way that, I mean, the rotor has to be on there perfectly. So rotor bolt number 2. So it has a little step here. I don't know if all rotor bolts have that, but this one does. There's a little step here to help align it, kind of like how the lug nuts have a little shank in it to align the wheel on a car. It has the same thing for a rotor. So I was just gonna go ahead and put these all in, and I'm gonna speed up the video right now. I should probably do them. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what order you put it in. I'm just gonna put it in, but I'll put them opposite of each other. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like putting together a toy, you know, that you gotta assemble. Everything's all brand new, nice and clean. Pretty much. I think this was a used wheel. They used this for actually racing, but it's in great shape. I'll tell you that now. Alright, so I got the bolts in there, so I'm going to go tighten them slowly, one at a time, and then we'll torque it. tighten them until, like, you know, it's a little bit snug. So like installing lug nuts on a car. I'll tell you this, some of the bolts feel like there's more resistance than other ones, so I don't know. It's not rocket science, man, but you definitely don't want to strip the threads on the hub. I don't know what rotor they were running on this before, so. Okay, I'm pretty much just tightening it until I can, until it bottoms out. Okay. Very lightly. Okay, and it should be self-centering. I hope. And then we're gonna torque it to about 80 inch-pounds. I'm gonna torque it in a star pattern. Okay. One more time. I don't think I even feel it clicking. It's so little torque. Okay, and then I'm gonna probably put about 10 more inch-pounds to do about 90 inch-pounds. I don't think it makes a difference. They're pretty much bottomed out already. Okay, that's the front. Front's all done. That's what it looks like. There will be nothing else to do for the front today. Even put the arrows on which way it should spin. That's pretty cool. So here it says KLX KX front hub. So this may have come from a KX. I guess the bikes use the same thing. It says here 08 Kawasaki KLX 140 front rim, and it has the size on it right there. Yeah, and then they put some electrical tape over the nipples, so that's fine. Or I mean, wherever the spokes come out. All right, so we're done with this side. We'll go put the other wheel up. Okay, so I got the rear wheel on there. So just in case you're wondering, I know it's like like most normal dirt bikes, kind of like the KLR. The front brake is on the left, and then the rear brake is on the right. Same for these bikes. So it's pretty common setup. Well, I said this one has dual brakes, so just got to remember that. But anyway, you can tell this has the little locking compound you can see in here. So what we're gonna go do is we're gonna go snip like we did with the other one, snip the zip ties off so we can. Okay, so before that, we'll go mark this. This is at the right side. I'm just gonna put right here. Just put R on it. And this is the left rear. So I'll put L R on it. Okay. Let's get all mixed up. We get our cutters, cut the zip tie off. Maybe we can take them off. Okay, this one I got lucky, cut it in the right place this time. And then we'll take these spacers out so I don't lose them. Let's see. Let's see if this thingy fits here. Just for reference. Yes, okay, so the rear does work with this tire changing stand, the front does not, because the front does not does not work because it freaking the axle is too thin. So, all right. So this is the sprocket side. Flip it over. Okay, and then we're gonna go get our rotor out. Jeez, how the hell did they get that in there? It had it stuck inside one of the holes for the rotor. Okay, so there it is. Looks good. It's got some kind of oil on it. I think they put some kind of oil so it wouldn't rust. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off real quick. And I'm gonna go cut the video out right here. Okay, so I've got the rotor on my little drip pan here, and we're gonna go and clean it with some AutoZone brake parts cleaner real quick, because it's got some kind of storing oil on it to keep it from rusting. I'd imagine this is some kind of like part salvage place that I bought this off of on eBay, and like they just got a bunch of parts lying around to keep them from rusting. They spray some kind of oil on it to keep it from rusting, and for the most part it's done a good job. So we're gonna go. Finally I get to use up this brake cleaner. It's almost empty. We're gonna go spray some on there. See what happens when you leave brake parts cleaner around for too long. So I got a new can here. This should work good. So I'm just gonna kind of just coat it. I probably should have wiped the oil off first before spraying it. So yeah, I mean it's pretty obvious why you want to clean the rotor, clean any oils off of the rotor, is because you don't want it to have oil on it, because it's a friction item. You're gonna go grab some rear brake and then it's not braking. What's going on now? Spray it one more time. Unfortunately, the rotors I got are not new, but they look new. Looks like they've hardly been used at all. It's in great shape. And like, this is a good rotor. It's a pedal rotor Kawasaki makes here. Okay, so that should do it, and this should evaporate at some point. Just toss that aside. I opened the garage, so get some air in here, get some extra light. So we're going to go line that up, and then we go install the new bolts. So these are the new bolts here. We're not going to use the ones that came with it. Actually, let's go take a look at the difference real quick. I'll zoom out a little. Okay, so we'll take a difference. So there's a lot of oil on this bag here. So this is the stock rotor bolt. I don't know if it's the same. And this is the ones that I bought on eBay. I don't remember how much I bought them for, but I don't think they were too expensive. There's a whole bunch of them. I only need 4 of them. So that's the stock one, and this is the old one. So they're pretty much the same. We'll find out when we put them on. These ones are more bling bling though. All right. So the rear rotor only has 4 bolts. Right, so I'll just speed the video up. Alright, so I wanted to go wash my hands so I don't contaminate the rotors again. I think it uses the same T-hand, the same Allen wrench. Yep, uses the exact same. I think the front and the rear bolts are the same. I'm just going to go tighten it. These ones are a lot harder, kind of harder to put in. Okay, so it's already kind of hung up on the rotor. So you can see they are self-aligning. If you can't get the bolt all the way in, then you're doing something wrong. It's not right. It's not lined up properly. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and torque the rear. Let's just leave it at this, whatever we had it, like 90-something inch-pounds. Yeah, so it's pretty easy. It's only 4. The important thing is to be very light with this guy, because sometimes you can't really feel the clicks. go. Okay. 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 Okay, so that should be it. So the rotors are done. So the last thing to do, I'll probably do it tomorrow, but we'll go